In the heart of the frosty Alps, an unholy creature was born, Krampus. His birth was not of the natural world, but a manifestation of the darkest fears and nightmares that dwell within the human psyche. In the desolate, unforgiving landscape of the Alps, where life is a daily struggle against the elements, the fear of the unknown took form. Imagine the most grotesque creature you can, and then push the boundaries even further. That's Krampus. He bore horns that twisted like gnarled tree roots, their points sharp enough to pierce the thickest hide. His fangs were like shards of ice, gleaming malevolently in the minimal light. His tongue, long and pointed, flicked out in anticipation of the terror he would soon bring. He was not born of love, nor of any natural process. He was born out of fear, out of the dark corners of human imagination. And so Krampus, the Christmas devil, was unleashed upon the world. With the coming of each winter, Krampus began his reign of terror. No chimney was too narrow, no door too bolted for this fearsome creature. As the snow fell and the world hushed in the crisp winter silence, one could hear the distant echo of chains clinking, the telltale sign of his dreadful arrival. On the eve of Christmas, Krampus would slip into homes, his eyes ablaze with a wicked gleam, searching for those who had strayed from the path of goodness. His purpose was not to reward, but to punish, to mete out justice to the naughty children who dared to defy the spirit of Christmas. The sight of his horned silhouette against the moonlit snow was enough to make even the bravest of hearts quiver with fear. With a bag slung over his hunched back, Krampus would snatch away the misbehaving children, their cries muffled by the harsh winter wind. His punishment was not a mere slap on the wrist or a stern warning. Oh no, it was far more sinister. The unfortunate children were dragged, kicking and screaming, to the cold, unforgiving underworld. There they would remain, a chilling reminder of the consequences of naughtiness. The dread he instilled was palpable, hanging heavy in the air. Communities would huddle together, their celebrations tinged with fear. Parents would whisper cautionary tales of Krampus to their children, their voices trembling, eyes wide with terror. The joyous season was overshadowed by the looming threat of Krampus, the once merry laughter now replaced with hushed whispers and anxious glances. The children would lie awake, their hearts pounding in their chests, as they listened for the dreaded sound of chains. The very mention of Krampus was enough to turn their dreams into nightmares, their innocence tainted by the horrifying reality of his existence. Year after year, the shadow of Krampus loomed over the joyous season, turning it into a time of fear and horror. His deeds were a testament to his malevolence, a chilling reminder that even during the season of joy and giving, darkness could creep in, casting a long, horrifying shadow. The terror of Krampus grew, his evil deeds casting a pall over the world. As the shadow of this malevolent beast spread, the once joyous time of Christmas began to take on a sinister tone. Parents clung to their children, their hearts heavy with fear. Whispers of Krampus's horrifying deeds echoed through every community, every town, every city. The laughter of children, once the melody of the season, was now a rarity, replaced by the silence of dread. Every knock on the door, every rustle in the night, every flicker of a candle's flame sent shivers down the spines of the people. Paranoia seeped into their lives, turning neighbors into strangers, friends into potential foes. The once merry and bright streets were now desolate and dark, the joyous carols replaced by mournful laments. The once vibrant Christmas markets stood deserted, the aroma of gingerbread and mulled wine replaced by the cold, biting air of fear. The world was no longer celebrating the birth of hope and love. Instead, it was gripped by the terror of a creature born from the darkest corners of nightmares. The festive spirit was replaced by a shroud of despair, the twinkling Christmas lights now a grim reminder of the lurking menace. The stockings hung by the fireplace were no longer brimming with gifts, but filled with the palpable dread of Krampus's impending visit. The Yuletide season, a time of peace and goodwill, was now a period of chaos and terror. The world was held hostage by Krampus, its joy and warmth sucked dry by his malevolent presence. Christmas, a symbol of love and togetherness, was now a harbinger of doom, its arrival a reminder of the horror that was Krampus. The world was in need of a savior, and that savior would come in the form of a jolly, red-suited figure. In the midst of despair, a beacon of hope arrived, Santa Claus. As the world was gripped by the horrors of Krampus, a figure of light emerged from the shadows. This was no ordinary man, but a being of pure joy and boundless generosity, a symbol of hope and love that transcended all fear. Santa Claus, in his iconic red suit and a twinkle in his eye, represented the spirit of Christmas. His mission was not only to spread joy and gifts to children, but also to restore the warmth and magic of the festive season that had been tainted by the ruthless Krampus. He journeyed across lands, his sleigh cutting through the icy winds driven by his faithful reindeer. With each stop, he left behind not just beautifully wrapped presents, but also a sense of hope, a spark of courage that ignited the hearts of those living in fear. Santa's jovial laughter echoed through the frosty winter nights, a stark contrast to the grim silence that had once reigned. His rosy cheeks and hearty chuckles brought smiles to faces that hadn't seen joy in a long time. The sense of dread that Krampus had instilled was slowly but surely replaced by a feeling of anticipation for the jingling of Santa's sleigh bells. Yet, as he spread cheer and merriment, Santa was acutely aware of the task that lay ahead. The joy was only temporary, a fleeting respite from the terror of Krampus. He knew that the real battle was yet to come. The spirit of Christmas was about more than just gifts and joy. It was about overcoming darkness, about standing up to fear. Santa's resolve hardened. He was not just a bringer of gifts. He was a warrior of light, a defender of joy. He had a mission, a purpose, a destiny. He was the embodiment of the holiday spirit, and he would not let Krampus destroy it. But Santa knew that to truly save Christmas, he had to confront Krampus. On a cold Christmas Eve, Santa Claus confronted the beast, Krampus. A chill swept through the air as the jolly figure in red, embodying the spirit of Christmas, stood against the embodiment of shadows and fear. They were two forces of nature, representing the polar opposites of the holiday season, joy and terror. The night sky served as their battleground, the stars their silent spectators as a clash for the ages unfolded. Santa, driven by the power of joy and hope, engaged Krampus in a fierce battle. Their struggle echoed through the night, the ground trembling under their might. Santa fought with a strength that belied his jolly appearance, his actions fueled by the love and happiness of billions. His power did not lie in brute force, but in the hope he inspired, the joy he spread, and the love he instilled in the hearts of children worldwide. Krampus, on the other hand, thrived on fear and despair. He fought with a savage ferocity, his attacks as wild and unpredictable as the beast he was. But where Santa was strengthened by the faith of countless children, Krampus found himself weakened. The fear he fed on was dwindling, replaced by the hope that Santa Claus brought. As dawn approached, Santa, with a surge of power born from the collective cheer of children worldwide, managed to overpower Krampus. He summoned a magical prison, a cage woven from the purest strands of Christmas spirit, and with a swift motion, locked Krampus away. The beast roared in anger and defeat. His reign of terror finally brought to an end, and so, with Krampus locked away, Santa Claus restored the joy and peace of Christmas, banishing the shadow of fear that had loomed over the world. He returned to his sleigh, leaving behind a silent night, a night that marked the victory of hope over fear, of joy over despair, and of love over hatred.